What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to the final word of the final night of our broadcasting week here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy MattyB, coming at you on this beautiful Thursday night, December the 19th. 6 days till Christmas? Yeah, 6 days till Christmas, man. And can you feel the holiday, the Yuletideness in the air? Especially if you were down in South Philadelphia tonight, you saw a bunch of gift giving all night long between the Flyers and the Los Angeles Kings down there at the Wells Fargo Center, as the Flyers might as well just kind of hung out in the lobby. 7-3 losers tonight, the Flyers were. And I didn't, you notice I said not 7-3. Notice I didn't say they lost 7-3. Oh, no, I said 7-3 losers. And then, you know what? I'm starting to kind of think a little bit negative, I guess. I'm starting to kind of think a little bit. The MattyB in me is starting to kind of want to climb out here and really just go off because there's a lot of problems with this hockey team. And there's a lot of issues with this hockey team. There's a lot of things missing with this hockey team. And it's not a surprise. And we talk about it just about every single night on this program. I know that because I bring it up a lot. The old, engine that could, underdog Flyers is one thing, but the bottom line is you need talent to win in the National Hockey League, and the Flyers just don't have enough of it. And that's evident. That's been evident. And nights like tonight, when they make mistakes that they can't mask because of the lack of talent, they get exposed, and it gets ugly. And that's what happened tonight in South Philadelphia. 7-3 losers tonight to the Kings. Now falling back underneath 500. Sal was just on with the Clear the Ice program, and he did an amazing job trying to hold it together. I feel you, Sal. I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. But we're going to continue the conversation because there's a few things that I want to add what I saw here tonight with the Flyers and the Kings. We also, of course, have our regularly scheduled lineup tonight, the day in Philadelphia sports history, a bunch of stuff. A bunch of things occurred on this day in Philadelphia sports, and that we're going to get into a lot of them. The hot stove has finally turned on for the Phillies, kind of. We'll let you know the move that the Phillies made tonight. Not for nothing. Don't rush off the Broad Street quite yet. We'll talk about the Phillies move. The rosters for the World Junior Championships up in Ottawa are pretty much a done deal, especially with the teams that involve the Flyers. We'll talk about some of the Flyer prospects that have made it into the World Junior Championship, a tournament, of course, that we're going to cover here on It's a Wrap starting on December 26th up in Ottawa. 5 Flyer prospects made their respective countries. No Team USA representation for the Flyers this year. Maybe that's because we don't really have that many good players. Well, we do have some good players that are American-born, but they're just not that good. So we'll get into that. We're going to get into the our Christmas movie thing. I mean, we're up to number 4. We're right there. We're 1 below 3 and 1 below 5. So we are in the sweet spot. And we'll get into our number 4, MattyB's all-time favorite Christmas movie. And we'll talk that. And, of course, our card segment, our daily card segment that we do every single night here on the program. So a lot going on tonight. I think we need to just buckle down and knuckle down and get right to it. Here we go. Your day in Philadelphia sports history. A bunch of things. And I've looked at all of them, and I wanted to pick one, and I just couldn't, because they're all very pertinent, and they're all very kind of on the juicy side. So I'm going to go ahead with all of them. And this is a rarity with this segment that we get to talk about multiples. We talk about multiples sometimes, but we never talk about 3 or 4 of them, and that's what we got tonight. So let's get it going on with your first factoid on your day in Philadelphia sports history. On this day back in 1948, during a blizzard at Shibe Park, over 36,000 screaming Eagles fans braved the storm to witness the Eagles' first ever NFL championship victory. They beat the Chicago Cardinals in a barn burner, 7-0. That's right. 7-0 as the Eagles were able to capture their very first ever NFL championship. Of course, they went back to back in 1949. We talked about that yesterday because in a year later, a year and a day later, in 1949, on December 18th, or a day earlier, I should say, they beat the Rams for their second in a row of NFL championships. This game, of course, was Steve Van Buren all day long. He accounted for about 179 yards of total offense. He was the offense for the Eagles, and a very important thing to keep in mind that Van Buren was actually had to walk the last 7 blocks to the stadium because of the weather. It was such a bad blizzard that day that he couldn't get there through transportation. He had to go the last 7 blocks in allegedly knee-deep snow, uphill, both ways. So is that where that was born from? Is that where that was born from? But on this day back in 1948, the Eagles won their first of back-to-back NFL championships. They would win another one in 1960 and then, of course, win the Super Bowl in 2017. So there was your first fact. In 2004, on this day, in the infamous Eagle-Cowboy game, the game where T.O. was horse-collared by Dallas Cowboys cornerback Roy Williams, ending his season and setting in motion his return in Super Bowl 39, a triumphant return, which actually might have done more harm than it did good for his future in Philadelphia, as, of course, we all know what happened in 2005. But on this day back in 2004, T.O. was horse-collared and hurt. Did he break his leg? Was that the injury? And it prompted the NFL Rules Committee to make the horse collar tackle illegal that winter, heading into the 2005 season. So, in large part, I'm sure it's not all because of the T.O. hit, but maybe that was the hit that kind of broke the camel's back. But on this day in 2004, the horse collar played against T.O., ending his regular season. But T.O. did return in Super Bowl 39 and had a monster game in the losing effort, which again, I wonder if that did more harm than good for his future in Philadelphia. And by the way, the Eagles won that game 12-7. And on this day in 2006, a sad day in Philadelphia sports history. On this day in 2006, the Sixers traded Allen Iverson to the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, the end of an era. It was official. The Sixers had admitted they were no longer a championship caliber team, and it was time to start rebuilding. And they sent Iverson. Was that the beginning of the end for the Sixers that seemingly led up to the process? I wonder. I mean, I know they made the playoffs a couple more times after that, but on this day, Allen Iverson was sent to Denver along with Ivan McFarland in exchange for Andre Miller, Joe Smith, and 2 first-round draft picks that became Dequan Cook and Petrie Kopin. Never heard of any of them. I don't remember those 2 players at all. But Iverson, on this day back in 2006, traded to the Denver Nuggets. And also on this day, finally wrapping it all up of your no, it's 4 things, right? We talked about 1, 2, 3. Yeah, your 4th factoid. A busy day in Philadelphia sports history. On this day back in 2014, the Phillies sent fan favorite, potentially the best shortstop in franchise history. I think he is. World Series champion, MVP, multiple Gold Glove winner, multiple All-Star appearances. Jimmy Rollins was traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers for Zach Eflin and Tom Wendell. Now, I had forgotten that Zach Eflin was part of that trade. That was a pretty damn good little return. Now that you kind of look back on it, Zach Eflin pitched well for the Phillies in his time here. He's a little bit injury prone, but he pitched well. So it's nice to see that the Phillies, who were getting rid of players at that time, actually hit on a trade, because all the other trades that they made during the teardown of that 07 to 11 era just didn't work out. But apparently that trade did. I forgot all about Zach Eflin was part of that. But at the end of the day, Rollins ends up with he's the actually all-time Phillies career hit leader with 2,455. He did win 4 Gold Gloves. He won the NL MVP in 07. And he's pretty much up top of every offensive category in Phillies team history. And yeah, just a sad day as we said goodbye to Jimmy Rollins on this day in 2014. A sad day because Terrell Owens was horse-collared and broke his leg on this day in 2004. A sad day because Allen Iverson was sent to the Denver Nuggets on this day in 2006. A happy day because the Eagles won their very first ever NFL championship on this day back in 1948. Busy day in Philadelphia sports history. Should we put the Flyers losing 7-3 to the Kings on this Mount Rushmore of days in Philly sports history? Does that go down in the 2024 list? I don't think it has quite the same amount of weight, but there you have it. There you have it. There you have it. There you have it. Your day in Philadelphia sports history. 4 very interesting things. And, of course, that's brought to you by the great folks, the great people, and all we do here over It's a Wrap Sports. Please, it don't take but a second of your time to go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it out, help us grow the network, help us be all that we can be. Yes, no, it's not the Army, but we're building something, and we want to get better. So, as we wrap up 2024, I would, if you're looking to get MattyB a present, perfect present would be just a click on that subscribe button, a share, a like, smash the bell of that whole thing down there. That would be all I want for Christmas. So please help a brother out as as I said, we grow this thing into the future and beyond, all the way to the year 2000. You guys remember that bit on Conan O'Brien in the year 2000? Funny ass bit that was. All right, I guess we're going to now turn the page. We're not talking Eagles, and you might have noticed, or maybe you haven't noticed, that tonight is Thursday, and the night came and went without no Birds Blast. Well, that's because, again, scheduling difficulties rear their ugly head. Fear not, bird heads. Tomorrow at 4:15, Kyle Quinn will be here live, and we will break down the one final time. We'll break down the Steelers game, and we will look ahead at the Commanders game for Sunday on the Bird Blast with Kyle Quinn here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. That is tomorrow at 4:15 prime meridian, past noon p.m. Be there or be square. As we I told you that going in, that these days are kind of, they're very flex. Kyle's a busy man, and I'm not. But no, he's the guest. He's the co-host, and we got to make some room for him, and we got to make some time for him. So I am definitely able to do that for him. So tomorrow, 4:15, the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn will be here live. So please make sure you're here as well. All right, so let's turn the page. And that was kind of suffice for my Eagles point tonight. I'm not going to get into the Eagles tonight. There's a lot more to talk about than the Eagles. We are going to dwell a little bit into the Flyers game. We're going to continue the Flyers conversation. Sal did a great job kind of starting it, and now I'm going to take it home. We got some Phillies things to get into as well. And we'll do all that in time. So let's get it going with the Flyers. 7-3 losers tonight. And not that they went out and played horribly. They're again, the Flyers don't quit, and that's evident. And they are a hardworking team. But I don't know how much more we're going to be able to fall on that sword. All right, you can have the fastest team in the world. You can have the team with the biggest heart. You can have the team with the biggest tenacity and the greatest work ethic. At the end of the day, if they can't put the puck in the net, if they don't have the skill level or the skill set to put the puck in the net, they're just not going to win at this level. And when you're playing against a team like the Kings, who are single-focused and single-minded on trying to win a cup and are built in that ilk, you're just not going to hang with them. Yeah, Kopitar went off again tonight for the Kings. I mean, they scored 7 goals. Yes, a couple of them, or one of them, was an empty netter. But Kopitar finished with He finished one short of a hat trick. You had Turcotte going off. I mean, all the Kings horses and all the Kings men were definitely on display tonight in South Philadelphia, as it was an up and down affair. Flyers had some issues in the net. Alexei Kovalsov did not look good tonight. I did not watch the game. I did not really focus on the game. I was doing something else in the background. I was doing something else about the game on in the background, and I heard a lot of squirts through finds its way through. Somehow it got through. I heard a lot of that, and obviously that's not good. I mean, that's the goalie not making clean saves, the goalie not getting there fast enough, the goalie not closing something up quick enough as well, and that's not good when you hear those phrases. So yeah, it's just a real hard slap in the face of reality about where the hockey team is and about what this rebuild really is and how frustrating this rebuild can be. And over the last few days, the Kings and the Flyers have actually been embattled or embedded in trade talks. The usual suspects of forwards, Farabee, Frost, Tippett, Forrester, Cates were all kind of mentioned potentially in a trade with the Kings. Players that were mentioned on that side were Quentin Byfield and Alex Turcotte. And there was some, rumors leaking out that there was some talks about potential deals being made here. Now, the Kings ain't left town yet. Who knows? Maybe something can happen post-game. And they're only going to be in Nashville. They're heading only to Tennessee. Maybe you can make a move before they head back out to the West Coast. But no move yet, and no move to be reported of. It could potentially go down in the next few minutes, so keep an eye on that. But it's just going to be what they are. They're not a terrible team. The Flyers are not a terrible team, and that's probably the most frustrating part about this entire situation. Is they're not a terrible team. They're not heading to the bottom of the pond, right? They're not going to supplant Chicago. They're not going to supplant San Jose for the worst team in the league. They're not. They're a middle-of-the-road team that's going to be about and then find themselves more than likely on the outside looking into the playoffs in the lottery, so to speak, but sitting at around pick 14, 13, or 12. And I don't know, even with multiple first-round draft picks, which they have this year, and multiple second-round draft picks, which they have this year, unless you're going to move some of that capital. And right now, it's not a lock that the Flyers would move capital within the draft to move up the board, because they need players. One first-round draft pick, one overall, James Higgins be damned, is not going to turn the fortunes of this team. The Flyers need a lot of horses. And they need them fast. So I don't know if it's such a slam dunk that you go into the draft saying, well, you know what? I got all this draft capital, especially in the 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. I'm going to trade 3 of them to move up to number 2 overall or move up to number 1 overall. I don't know if that is such a smart thing to do, because we're not one player away. We're multiple players away. And what's also reared its ugly head this season recently has been this ship-shoddy defense of this team. I don't know what's going on the blue line. Cam York, who's turned into my favorite new whipping boy, and I like Cam York, man. I think he's part of the future of this organization. But after 2 really bad games back-to-back, one against Minnesota and then the game last night against Detroit, Cam York found himself on the outside looking in tonight. It was the healthy scratch. Emil Andre back in the lineup. And then, of course, Emil Andre gets victimized in this game for not knowing how to play defense. And we're going to break his goal down. That 5th goal, that 5th Kings goal, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about 2 goals tonight, the Kings' 5th and the Kings' 1st, because those goals to me are the essence of what's wrong with the Flyers. Absolutely, 100%. So you got to factor in the defense of the blue line that just a couple months ago was extremely deep. Now it's looking like, whoa, what do we got here, man? Do we got a bunch of D3s? Do we have any D2s? Do we have any D1s? Drysdale seems to be a really slow work in progress. I mean, real slow. I'm not really seeing much plus side in Jamie Drysdale right now. I'm not. And he's often hurt. So I don't know if I don't know who got the best of that trade. I mean, Gauthier is not doing great either, but I don't know who got the best of that trade out there in Anaheim, because I'm not really digging Jamie Drysdale right now. I'm not digging Cam York. I certainly have never dug Travis Sanheim. And tonight, Emil Andre, he's flopping and flailing on the ice himself. So we now have a defensive issue. Then you factor in the goalie thing, right? A couple weeks ago, it was we had 3 Vezina Trophy winners in the same goalie rotation. Now we have 3 guys who can't stop a puck, right? Kovaslov tonight looked terrible. All right. He did, what was it? Saved 20 out of 25 or something like that. Did not look good. As I said, I wasn't really watching the game. I had it on in the background, but I heard a lot of it just got through, or it found its way through. It snuck through. It's in. I didn't hear much like clean shots, clean goals, and all that. So we might have a goalie problem again. Erson hasn't looked really good since he's been back from the IR. Fedotov is what Fedotov is. We're going to talk about one goalie that's going to be in the IHF World Juniors that he might be getting his chance sooner than later with the Flyers. And then there's another goalie who's out in Russia, Zarajin, who might be the next man up. You might be seeing 2 new goalies in Philadelphia by the end of the season and into next season. So you factor in, a leaky defense, the goalie situation, which we all kind of knew going into the season was going to be like this. And then once again, that was not addressed in the offseason, that I've got lambasted for even suggesting that it get addressed by Anthony Gargano by making trades for better offensive forwards. We got the offense, who still is averaging less than 3 goals a game and is still having problems putting the puck in the back of the net. And all that equals a 7-3 loss to the Kings. And all that equals now the Flyers popping back below 500 at 14-15-4, which means that's where they are. They are a 500 to just below or just above team. And that's where I think they'll live for the most part of the season. They're not bad enough to go up to the top 3 of this lottery, and they're not good enough to get to the playoffs. And that, my friends, spells purgatory. And I don't know, with no salary cap, with issues with contracts, a lot of draft capital that's kind of stuck in the dead middle of rounds. And I don't know if I honestly don't know their stance on trading some of these kids, but I don't know the way forward. And thank God I'm not Danny B, honestly, because I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know the way forward here. You're not signing players because you don't have money. The draft capital is expansive, but you're down there in the middle rounds, in the middle part of the round. It leaves trades, and obviously you're not getting a bona fide scorer for Noah Cates. You're just not going to get one of those, but you might get a bona fide scorer for about 3 of them, a Cates, Tippett, Forrester type of trade. It's just the sad reality. And I believe Keith Jones was on record a couple of days ago or today. I saw that expect the trade deadline to be a lot like it was last year. So regardless of whether or not the Flyers are battling for a playoff position, they are going to be sellers, and they'll probably move some people along that could potentially help them make the playoffs, but would help other teams do a lot more better, and then bring back some capital in return to help out the Flyers. So all that means 7-3. And what does that leave our season, man? I mean, where does that leave us, the most important people in all this, the fans, the stockholders, the stakeholders, so to speak? As I said, I got lambasted by Anthony Gargano for even suggesting that it was time to start making moves. It was time to start, understanding what we have here. And God knows if Danny B doesn't know what we have here yet in some of these players, in all these players, actually, then we're in a really bad position, because they know what Noah Cates will be. They know what Tyson Forrester will be. They also know what Morgan Frost will be. Now it's time to address that and potentially try to move on and get better. But I got told that I'm a raving lunatic for bringing up such an idea like trading players. But I think it might be time. So I do want to look at this 2 goals from this game, as I told you. I want to look at the first goal, the first Kings goal, and the 5th Kings goal, because these goals were very frustrating to me. So let's bring up the first one here. I want to set this up about halfway through the first period. This is the play is behind the Kings net. So the Flyers are in their offensive zone. And let's roll it here from here, because again, this is going to encapsulate my struggles with the Flyers all season. The Flyers are able to not be able to take possession of the puck. The Kings are going to get it on a giveaway. It's not a turnover. It's a giveaway because it was unforced. Then it goes, I don't know what Tippett's doing there with it, but it goes up onto the blue line. They keep it in. And then Sanheim, another one. I don't understand this. It gives it away again. And then to even make matters worse, somehow in all of this, the Flyers get caught short, meaning they get caught pinching. I don't understand how the player got behind them on this. Look at this. This is terrible, man. Absolutely terrible defense. It's like they're skating around in concrete. I can't tell if it's an ill-advised shift change here at this point. You got 2 in the zone. So you got numbers. Look at this. I don't understand how something like this happens. Let's do the fuzzy math. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 Kings standing in the zone. You got 1, 2 Flyers in the zone. Or he's kind of out of the zone, but in the frame. So that means the numbers on the other spots of the ice is 1 King and 3 Flyers. How did they get caught like this? How does a breakaway come from this? And this is what I'm talking about with this new nuisance about this team, about the defensive breakdowns. There's never such thing as a perfectly played hockey game, regardless of what level of hockey you're at. But to have such a breakdown, so egregious at the NHL level, befuddles me. And let's just let it go from here because it's going to spring a breakaway here. I don't. Sanheim and is that Drysdale, isn't it? I don't even have words, man. Drysdale does try to get back with the back check, but yeah, whatever. And there's the Kings' first goal. And I knew after seeing that it was going to be one of those nights. So I'm going to go back again because I'm still trying to figure out how this happens. So right here, I'm going to stop it again. Maybe my math is wrong. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 Los Angeles Kings players in the frame. So that means the only Kings player that's not even in the shot here is the one that's going to score the goal on the breakaway. And I got 2 Flyers players. So that means behind over here off camera, I got 3 Flyers players and 1 LA King player. And somehow through that, the Kings are able to squeeze a breakaway. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And, again, after seeing this, I knew it was going to be one of them nights. All right. So that's the Flyers. That's the Kings' first goal I wanted to talk about. I wanted to bring that up. There's the first goal. Now I'm going to talk about the 5th goal because this one's more egregious than all the goals I saw tonight. This is the worst. And this is about Emil Andre, who I am a big fan of too. I think he's a good player. And, part of the process here is learn. These kids are going to learn, and they're going to learn the hard way. They're going to learn, in the worst of situations. But listen, it's got to happen. It's got to happen sooner or later. But here's the 5th goal. It's the Andre. So let's just roll it here. This is all Kopasov, by the way. This is where you see the talent gap between the 2 teams. Just really, they're going to come up. Very innocent, dump in. There's a mistake up here. Who is that? Who the heck was that? That was an Andre, is it? No. Okay, so let's back it up because I'm going to blame Emil Andre for a lot of this, but he's not really to fault because this is just a weird play on the end board here. Is that Hathaway out there? I can't tell if that ain't. Oh, no, that's my boy. That's Morgan Frost. Okay, now it makes sense. All right, here we go. So just look at this. Look how bad this is. Look how bad the coverage is by Morgan Frost. He's going to do a haphazard try to get the puck. Then the puck does come free, and it's right there, and he can't catch up to it. Now, right here, you can blame Morgan Frost. He's a forward. You really shouldn't be that upset about that defensive effort. He's not a defenseman. But here's the real problem with this play is right here with Emil Andre. He's bodied up right now on a potential play here. And listen, he's it, right? I mean, you can see it right now that they're going to have to – this guy's probably going to be paying attention to this guy coming into the zone. So that means it's going to be Andre and Frost, I believe, peels off. But just Morgan Frost, man, get out of the way. Just Andre just allows Kopitar to just skate right on by him. That was terrible. It looks like he might have lost an edge a little bit, and then everybody's out of position. You got Morgan Frost playing catch up the whole time. I mean, the fact that he's got to go down and take the player here and completely leave this player because Frost couldn't catch up. See, look at the confusion. See Frost look over. He doesn't know what to do. Look at the confusion here as they're switching. Andre gets beat. Whether or not he got beat because he lost an edge or whatever, or he just didn't play it well, you can maybe make a case for both of it. But look at, you're going to see Frost starting to look behind him right now. He doesn't know what to do. He's taking his keys off this defender. I don't know why. Why would you abandon? Why would you converge three guys on one? And I can't even talk about this. This is just so bad. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible defense by the Flyers here. And it really is not that upsetting to see what happens as they, just bad. For you young hockey players out there, I want to point out a couple of things about this play right here. If you're a forward trying to make a defensive play, make the play. All right. Don't go swatting at it. Do something with it. And at a certain point, make your decision and say, you know what? I can't make the play. So I'm going to not necessarily peel off, but I'm going to look for my secondary lane. I am not going to sit up here and consistently flail away and look like a fool and not be able to make a play. I'm going to look at the secondary lane, which would be what the next potential play could be from this, because I got a defender here. I got Emil Andre. So at this point, Morgan Frost, as clueless as he is, should have just abandoned this play and either played center field behind and kind of peeled off this way in order to kind of catch a potential play, a breakdown along the boards. But doing what he did was wrong. I mean, this is just pathetic. Just a complete breakdown, a complete, absolute breakdown by the Flyers defense. Again, young hockey players, if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, if you ever find yourself in your own zone with two of your teammates and you look across the ice and you see the three of you standing in some sort of line and you are all converging on one player, somebody have the presence of mind to say, three of us don't need to be playing one guy. I'm going to peel off and I'm going to look around first before I peel off and make sure somebody else is not coming into the zone, because we're going to look very foolish here in a second with three of us coming down on one player. Just terrible hockey. And the Flyers paid the price, rightfully so, for this breakdown. This might end up on my Flyers daily breakdown tomorrow because it's so pathetic. And there you have it. There's the Flyers. There's the Kings' fifth goal. Ooh, very nice. There's the Flyers. There's the Kings' fifth goal. And again, that opened the floodgates. That made it 5-3. They would go on and hit an empty netter to make it 6-3 and then 7-3. And there you have the end of the game. So wanted to point out those two plays, those two goals, as the bane of the thorn in my ass about the Flyers tonight. And I'm not even looking offense anymore. I'm not even bothering with the offense anymore because the offense is what it is. It's a little engine that could and that they can't. But it's been the defense. That has been the problem over the past, 3 games in a row they've lost. It's been the defense and the goaltending that have kind of risen to the top of this. They're just having too many breakdowns and not getting good enough goaltending. So I don't know where to go from here. We're going to do our final word stat pack here in a second, but let's go over. Oh, Steve, how are you? Flyers just give their fans 2 in the pink and 1 in the stink. It pretty much sums it up. Could have said it better myself, Steve, but let's take a look at our Flyers stat pack here on the final word. Flyers now 14-15-4 through 33 games, 32 points. Because of the 0 for 1 on the power play tonight, now 15 for 93, creeping down, closing in on 16% effective. The penalty kill, they killed off 3 tonight or 2. That was good. That was good news tonight, right? They killed off 2, correct? Killed off one. Flyers were 0 for 2, and they killed off one penalty. So, hey, they didn't give up any shorthanded goals. That's good. So far now in the season, the Flyers have been shorthanded 95 times and have killed 79 of them for 83.1%. With the Flyers, 3 goals now, they're creeping close to 100 on the season. 96 now, still less than 3 a game. With the 7 goals they gave up, they've now surrendered 115 on the season, close to 3.5 goals a game. That ain't doing it. They're over 900 shots now in the year, 901 for 27.3. And their opponents have now registered 927 shots for 28 a game. The Flyers have given the puck away 497 times, closing in on 500 giveaways, 33 games into the season. Astonishing. 15 giveaways a game. I'm now resigned myself that number is not coming down significantly. It's going to stay there all season. It's going to stay in that 15, 14, 16 range all season long. The mirage of last year's giveaways, where they were averaging 6 a game, is now officially a mirage. This is what they are, a team that gives the puck away 15 times a game, and that's astonishing. They blocked 622 shots for the season, closing in on 20. And since 2021, 2022, they are 109 and 797 on the power play for about 13.5%. And there you have your stat pack, your Flyers stat pack on this episode of The Final Word. Whew. And the Flyers will not quit. Neither will we, because we'll be back on Saturday. As now I am in the shoot, right? MattyB now will have you for the remainder of the 2024 calendar year. Yep, in all the games that we have left, which is on Saturday against Columbus, Monday, I believe, right? Monday in Pittsburgh. Then we got the Christmas break, and then I got you through the West Coast trip, heading out at the on the 28th, starting in Anaheim, and taking you all the way into 2025. Until Sal will pick it back up on January 2nd. So I am now your permanent post-game host until sometime early 2025. Deal with that. Can't wait. Mess up my holidays. But yeah, there you have it. Flyers. Flyers are what they are, man. Ugh. Now, before I gravitate off of hockey, I do want to add one more thing. Let's go into our Of the Night segment. A special of the night segment is on tap here tonight, because we have some great news to tell you about some Flyer prospects as they're making their mark on the international stage. So let's key up the music if I can friggin' find it, and I can't find it. Where is it? Wow, man, I need a producer. Okay, wow. What am I doing here? Oh, there it is. All right, this is the Of the Night segment. This is where we talk about a Flyers prospect player, a Phillies prospect player, an MLB draft target, a NHL draft target, a spotlight player for the Flyers or the Phillies. This is that part of the night that we do that. We dedicate this segment to them. And tonight, I'm dedicating it to 5 of them. That's right, 5 Flyer prospects. These are your 5 Flyers players who will represent their country starting on December the 26th. Up in Ottawa at the IIHF World Junior Championships. The Flyers are sending 5 of their prospects, 3 from Team Canada. 3 from Team Canada. We got ourselves 3 from Team Canada. We got ourselves 1 from Sweden, and we got 1 from Finland. So Sweden, Canada, and Finland are being represented by the Flyers at the IIHF, and specifically the following players. And these are all players we've actually have already done on this segment, but we're going to rehash them. Oliver Bonk is on his way to represent Team Canada. Of course, he is the young stud right-hand defenseman that a lot of folks wanted here after this past summer. I was one of them. I think he's ready now. I think now with our defensive problems that we're having, him not being a Flyer next year is pretty much a 0% chance of happening. I think he's definitely on his way to Philadelphia next season, but we'll get a chance to see Oliver here representing Team Canada coming up at the IIHF. Joining Oliver Bonk on Team Canada is his running mate from the Knights, Denver Barkey. The underweight, under height young man, 5'9", 154 pounds. He will be also part of Team Canada this year. He's got a little bit longer to go. He needs to put on 30 pounds. I ain't gonna lie, 30 pounds at about 6 inches, and we can have him, or 30 pounds and 4 inches. How's that? But Denver Barkey is going to get an opportunity to represent his country, and he is also a Flyer prospect. And then the rounding out Team Canada is Carson Bjornsson, the goalie from the Brandon Wheat Kings. He was the player we took in the second round of the 2023 draft, the first of 2 straight goalies we took in that draft. He also had himself a great summer in Flyers developmental camp and training camp. Flyers decided to send him back for another year. Juniors, again, with the problems and the carousel-like situation we have at goalie, expect to see Carson Bjornsson part of the mix next season, along with the Russian Igor Zarajin, as the Flyers might be incorporating a next man up philosophy when it comes to these goalies. But he'll be with Team Canada representing his country. And going now into the other nations of the world, Jack Berglund, he is also on his way to the world, the IIHF. He'll be representing Sweden. Berglund is the Flyers' second-round pick this last year's draft, 2024. Slick scorer. He's got speed. He's got grit. He can work the corners. I'm really going to be interested in watching him live. It's going to be fun to watch him. And rounding out your Flyer prospects in the IIHF World Juniors, the player we did last night, Heikki Ruohonen, taken in the 4th round of last year's draft. He's representing Finland in this year's IIHF World Junior Championships. And there you have it. There's all your Flyers prospects heading to battle with their countries for gold in Ottawa, and we will be there bringing you all the action, and we can't friggin' wait. 5 players from the Flyers prospect pool are on their way to the IIHF World Juniors, and then after the World Juniors, the Of the Night segment will take on another layer as we will start breaking down our NHL draft picks of next season. So we can't wait for that. Do something different. I'm Flyer prospect out, right? It's time to kind of mix some other things in there. We're also going to start throwing in MLB draft targets here. Probably not in early January. Probably more in February. We'll start that. And spotlight players of the Phillies as well. So there you have it. There's my hockey thing for tonight. It was a lot. It was like 45 minutes of hockey, but we're going to pivot off that because we got baseball to talk about. The Phillies have finally done it. The seal has been broken. The move has been made that is going to cinch our participation in the 2025 World Series. The Phillies landed the prize of free agency. That is right. Say welcome him to Philadelphia. Max Kepler, formerly of the Minnesota Twins, 105 games in 2024, a illustrious 253 batting average, 8 home runs, and 42 RBIs. He missed time in the beginning of the season, and he missed time in the end of the season due to an injury. He's 31 years old, and he is the missing piece. I, of course, am being facetious. Are you kidding me with this? Didn't we? Is this okay? So last year it was Whit Merrifield and David Dahl. Now we got Whit Merrifield and David Dahl's love child. I mean, what is going on, man? Does Dave Dombrowski think we're stupid? Does Dave Dombrowski think we're stupid? The outfield problem. So we got rid of Austin Hayes, and we got something very similar in return for Austin Hayes. Didn't we get Austin? We got Austin Hayes' older brother. We got David Dahl, Whit Merrifield's love child, and Austin Hayes' older brother. I'm starting to be concerned about the direction of this team. I'm starting to be concerned about where we're headed in 2025. All right. And I think it's legitimate concern. What is David Dombrowski doing with this team? Does he really think this is the missing piece? Does he really think this is going to bring us a World Series? Maybe 5 years ago, this would have helped us. This is amazing that this is what we've been waiting all winter for. So Max Kepler is a Philly on a 1 year, $10 million contract. Utterly amazing. I don't even know where to go with that. Very frustrating night here on the program. All right. Very frustrating night. Got to talk about a Flyers 7-3 loss. And then I got to talk about the love child of David Dahl and Whit Merrifield in Max Kepler. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do. But with that, that's going to bring me into because we do have an update to tell you about the hot stove. So let's get into our hot stove update because there is some hot stove information. All right, let's jump into it. We got to update you on the hot stove because there's been some movement over the last couple of days. We were going to start with Chucky Robinson, the catcher, traded today from the White Sox to the Angels for cash. Love them trades. Michael Sogorka, the starting pitcher, is on his way from Chicago to Washington. So he's coming to the National League East on a 1 year deal. Nick Raposo, the catcher, I think he was hurt all last year, is now on his way to Seattle. He was claimed by the Mariners off waivers from Toronto. Griffin Canning, now a Met, okay? Now a Met. 6-13, he was 6-13, a 5.19 ERA and 130 strikeouts, is now going to New York to play for the Mets. At least the Mets are serious, right? At least there's a team in the National League East that's serious about trying to win. He's now a Met. Tucker Barnhart is now on his way to Texas, the catcher, with a 173 batting average on no homers, 6 RBIs on a minor league invitation. And Caleb Brochley on his way to Texas as well from Minnesota on a minor league deal. Had a 4.50 ERA last season with 1 strikeout and no saves. So the Mets are continuing to make moves. Griffin Canning going from the Braves to the Mets, and the Phillies making a move today, folks, because we signed Max Kepler. And life could not be any better. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know. Why are they making it so hard? You know, why are they making it so hard? So there you have our hot stove report. Max Kepler. Is that my Christmas present? Max Kepler. All right. Oh, man. I can't make it up. All right, let's head on to our most coveted segment of the night.
Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. What? Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
Yes, that's right. MattyB's card review segment. The best part of waking up is not Folgers in your cup. It's the MattyB card review segment on the final word on It's a Wrap Sports. And tonight, we're back in baseball. We were back in baseball last night as we highlighted my 87 Topps Roger Clemens really bad cut of a card that we got. And I'm staying in the 87 Topps baseball world and another badly cut card. I'm telling you, I said this last night, and I've said it throughout the segments that we've done on the show, especially with 87 Topps. They were some of the worst cut cards in the history of baseball cards. And it seems like I have most of them. And tonight I have another one to show you. But this player's card is a Philly. That's right. We're going back home. We're back home with our own players. One of the more iconic Phillies of all time. And this was one of his younger cards. So here we go. 87 Topps Darren Daulton. Yeah, buddy. Look how young he looks there, man. God. Oof, oof, oof. So this was, I think, Dalton's third year, into his third year of his career. Of course, I don't even think he was starting at this point. I think 87 was the first year he started. But not a very valuable card. I couldn't find this card for more than a couple bucks at the highest graded that I could find it, which was graded as a 9. I could not find it more than about $2. So, but it's a Darren Daulton card. It's a Phillies card, and I miss them old uniforms, man. This brings my childhood right into focus. Absolutely brings it right into focus. So Darren Daulton is your card of the night. Again, not much in a financial world. Now, this card that you're looking at, it would probably grade out as around a 9 or an 8, potentially a 10. As you can see how nice and centered it is. It's cut well and all that. But the card I'm about to show you is complete opposite to that. And here you go. Here's the physical version. Just like last night, as you can see along this edge right here. Look how bad that is. That's a terrible cut. Came off the machine just awfully. I had one last night, the Roger Clemens one, which was bad. This is another bad one. And I have more than just this that are cut so terribly off the machine. Actually, this card is listed up on eBay right now for $1. I'm going to see if I can get it. I can get it sold for $1. But there you have it. The 87 Darren Daulton Topps. My card that's cut really bad. Now, a lot of you out there might be thinking, well, Matty B, you got a card that's cut bad. It's an error card. You should be charging more, or you should expect to get more. It doesn't work that way for cards that are not centered right or not cut correctly. It doesn't work. A card that comes off the press cut wrong is just a bad card. You get credit for the error cards when there's a typo or the Billy Bean, thing on the bottom of his bat. Not Billy Bean, but the Billy Ripken thing on the bottom of his bat. The Griffey Jr. bloody scab on his elbow. That's an error card. So a badly cut card is not considered an error card, and that card is pretty much worthless. But right now, I could find it, $1. But Darren Daulton is Darren Daulton. And as I said, look how young you look there. And there you have my card of the night, the 87 Darren Daulton from the iconic Topps collection that year with the wood paneling background of that card set. So love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And now that leads me to my number 4 all-time Christmas movie. We have made it from 10 all the way up to 4. And we're not stopping, right? Let's recap it. At 10, I got It's a Wonderful Life. At 9, I got any version of the Christmas Carol. At 8, I got Elf. At 7, I got the Santa Claus. At 6, I got Scrooged because I do not delineate the difference between, I do delineate between the difference between Scrooged and Christmas Carol. They're two different movies. At number 5, Home Alone. And then at number 4 was Christmas Story. So that's right. Tonight's number 3. We are in the top 3. I'm sorry. Forgot about that. We are in the top 3. My number 3 all-time favorite Christmas movie is the holiday classic. Here you go.
This year, only one train is rocking. Only one ride is rolling. And only one adventure can take you
I've wanted to do that my whole life.
to the party on top of the world. The Polar Express. Rated G. Now playing.
Yep, there you have it. My number 3 all-time favorite Christmas movie, The Polar Express. Obviously, as a father with at the time, young children, this was a movie that captivated them. And this is kind of draws from the same place that Christmas Story draws from. A very nostalgic, old life that used to be type of feel to it. and about forgetting or not believing anymore and then believing again. So Christmas is all about faith and about believing in things. And Polar Express is a great movie. It's very nostalgic. It's very old school. And to me, it just captures all of that. So there you have it. Polar Express is my number 3, not my 4. I already gave you my 4. So now we're just 2 off. Number 2 and number 1, which I'll debut number 2 on Sunday, and number 1 will be given to you probably either on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, depending on when I broadcast. I haven't decided when I'm going on the air, which day, but we made it all the way up to the top 2. Polar Express is my number 3 all-time favorite Christmas movie of all time. So, all right, well, that's going to do it. I want to thank everybody for coming along the ride this week. Another broadcasting week in the books. I will be back tomorrow at 4:15 with the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. That's not it. It's all the way up here. I need a producer. God damn it. The Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. And then I'll be back again on Saturday with Flyers post-game action, Flyers and Blue Jackets. Sunday, don't forget, on the network, we got you covered for Eagles Commanders. The Birds Flyby will return. Sal G will take you on the post-game show role. And then the programming that we have starting next week, of course, Sal G's wraparound, and I'll be back as well. So we're not done. We are done on the final word for the week, but we will be continuing the programming throughout the weekend, and hopefully we catch you at some point during that weekend. So I want to wish you guys, I hope you had a great week, and I hope you enjoy your Friday. I know tomorrow might be, I know tomorrow is last day of school, right? Around the areas. I don't know if anybody's going on their Christmas vacation to start tomorrow, but it could be. But I want to wish you guys a great night, rest of your night, and an even better tomorrow. Thank you for a great week. We will catch up with you tomorrow at 4:15 for the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, and then all the great programming we have in store for you over the weekend. You guys take care.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I'm so. Everybody know. You know when the click through. Try to send this about to be a show. Be fine.